always hate it when you watch a video and they were all mic'd up. They got a really solid quality equipment and you hear them slurping. I slurp, but you can't hear it. Yesterday, do y'all remember who Eamon Bundy is? Remember the cattle ranch thing down, I think it was Arizona? 2014, I think that was. I can't even remember the title of the conflict or the event of what they called it. I got a couple guys here that know him, know the family, but I can't remember what the thing was. But it was the Bundys, the Bundy Ranch thing. Then they had the other deal where they took over a building or an area, whatever. That was a thing. I didn't pay too much attention to that. Whatever, it just wasn't it was on my radar, but I wasn't into it. Yesterday, a while back, a thing came up, and it was Eamon Bundy explaining something, and so I subscribed to his channel. And so every so often, he gives you kind of an update of what's going on. I did not know that he had this issue going on. He's out of jail. I think that's what started his channel up again. But anyway, somewhere along the lines, I guess he's being fined $50 million, $54 million for protesting in front of a hospital. Which is good, because if you have a country and you allow people to protest, you're going to become a third world country. Because next thing, they'll start burning buildings and killing cops. So thank God we stand up for that kind of thing. Who would have thought? But anyhow, he gets fined $50-something million for protesting in front of a hospital for something with the family. I don't know all the details. I could have that wrong. But I don't think he burned anything. He didn't tear it. Why did he get the $50 million fine? And, ridiculous. And even that will tell you the justice system in this country, that's, if you haven't picked it up by now, that's bought and paid for. But he did a thing, he did a video on he live streamed what I think he calls an interrogation. The law might call it an interview of some sort or whatever, between himself and an attorney, a prosecuting attorney. Now, this is not a court of law, but he's interviewing him. Interrogation, call it whatever you want. Over Zoom. And he live streams it, which the attorney does not like. They don't want you, I'll get to that in a minute. But I said, I do not believe it's a court of law. I don't think he's even sworn in. Okay. I'm not criticizing Eamon Bundy. There are some things he does in this that kind of scare me. But I think they're deciding whether or not they're going to take this thing to court or prosecute or whatever. It's one of those kind of things. But the man is an attorney on the prosecuting side. And if you watch this, it's like 4 hours long. You don't have to watch the whole thing. I didn't watch the very beginning. I didn't watch the ending. I watched about an hour and a half, or listened to about an hour and a half in the middle. But you can see, if you ever had to stand and sit across a table from an attorney, how they manipulate. People say a lot of things about attorneys. They're this, they're that. When you actually get to see them perform in the arena, in their environment, I just soon swim with sharks. I've known a lot of attorneys. I've had to deal with a lot of attorneys. I made a video probably a year or two ago about our family's had 5 different attorneys, and we're still looking for a good one. Someone you'd have coffee with outside of the thing. You wouldn't drink with these people. With that said, but you could see how he's manipulating. Now, I'm not saying Eamon Bundy could be a smart guy, not whatever. I don't know the man. Haven't followed him that long. I just kind of know the story a little bit. This is not something you'd want to walk into without another shark, without another attorney. But like I said, I don't think it's a court of law. He probably knows what's going on or how far this could go or what the dangers are. I never would have spoke to this other attorney without an attorney present. Now, maybe he had someone else in the room or something. I don't know for sure, but you don't go to a gunfight with a plastic fork. You just don't do that. I don't care how smart you think you are, how bad you know the Constitution or whatever the case is. That's what really scared me about this whole thing. It's like, dude, he might be painting himself into a corner. That I don't know, because I don't know all the details. But I've been in enough situations with attorneys involved and judges and all this kind of thing. And you're watching just blatant manipulation, putting words in someone else's mouth, cornering them with questions, leading them in such a way it's almost like, if someone doesn't know this is going on, they can put they'll lock you up, and you could be innocent. They're gonna lock you up because this guy's good at what he does. It's just a sick system. The opener of this thing, though, is he tells the attorney, or the attorney asks him, says, "Are you live streaming this?" He says, "Yes, I am." Why? Should be public knowledge. Why would he want to hide this? And that's a great point. Why would anything we discuss outside of two attorneys going to the back room and hammering out their, when they decide not to go to court, they make a deal. That I can see, even then they should be exposed, but after the fact. But what is it when they come to? I can't think of the phrase. Anyhow, anything in a court of law outside of an issue with a minor, maybe I could see that where if a minor something happens, sexual assault, something like that, maybe they don't want to have that so publicly out there, whatever the case is. But an entire court proceeding should be totally public, as long as everyone shuts up and listens and acts accordingly. Let them in. You're all bringing this stuff to light. You're going to bring what's going on here. And typically, the court doesn't want that because they're a bunch of manipulators. It's a crooked deal, man. But if that's not why I make this video. If you can see, if for someone who's a real Second Amendment guy, well, I could always have self-defense, and I got my gun, I could do all these kinds of things. Imagine, even with your attorney sitting across from someone else, and they're all playing this game, that you got to get grilled in such a way where you have to defend your decision to do whatever you did. Let's say to defend yourself or whatever. This is no joke. This is no joke. These people are savages. And there's common sense does not count. That's out the window. The Constitution means nothing to these people. It's all about precedent. So you can have all the constitutional rights in the world. That means zip in the court of law. Luckily you can do your well, I'll look at the kid with that shot the protesters. That the district attorney questioned him on pleading the fifth or taking it and try. You can't do that. You cannot do that. That's lawyer 101. And here it is. This guy pulls that stunt, trying to throw the case to do his. It's a good idea, but it's just a terrible system because it's not based on what you think. It's not based on laws. It's not the laws. What you got locked up is because you may have broke a law. That's how they caught you. Now what they're going to do to you is just manipulation. But you can just look at how this attorney, if you're trying to argue a point with this attorney or defend yourself, just how every word they say, because they're good at this, every word they say is backing you into a corner. They're trying to get you either to admit or that round, what do they call it, goofy logic, where pretty much you're going to answer 3 or 4 questions, and the next one will have how you answer it truthfully or in defense of yourself is going to contradict the 4 you just previously answered. And then they throw that to the jury. Oh, look here, it's just a sick system. You got to keep yourself out of law at all times. But if you can't, you better have one with you. You got to have an attorney with you. Now, like I said, this was not a court of law that they were doing this. I think it was just an interview, interrogation, whatever you want to call it. But I would not have done this without an attorney. I learned that a long time ago. But anyhow, if you get a chance, take a look at it. You don't have to watch much of it to get a taste for it. But it's Ammon Bundy. I'll put a link down below. But it sure is nice that we're actually going after people that protest and finding them. Because, otherwise you might get some wild protests going on where they burn cities and kill cops. I mean, God, we wouldn't want that. That's third world country. Thank God we do that. Justice will prevail. Love you. God bless.